Hello, and good morning, everybody. Today I would like to show you how you can create a white background in your photographs in Lightroom. And I've prepared two small examples. One is a dog toy of our dog, and the other one is Eurasian Jay in flight. As you can see, both of the photographs already have a relatively wide background, which makes it easier to do what we would like to do. However, the technique I'm showing you, you can apply to any kind of photograph. Let's get started. First, you go to the development mode, then you use the brush tool, and here you can see you have all sorts of settings. But mainly what we want to do is we push the exposure on the top on very max, and we hit the little arrow here where it says auto mask. And then what we can use this arrow here to show us where the white spots are. So if you go on your trackpad with both fingers up and down, and or use the size tool here or the size setting here, you can change the size of the brush tool, and then you can simply start um, creating a white background by just brushing out everything around the dino. First do it like roughly outside, then get a little closer. Be careful when it comes down to the edges. So first of all, we do it like this. And now you already can see that in this area here, it already kind of finds the edges. And this is because we have set the settings to auto mask. So if I quickly go back and would show you how this would look like without the auto mask, you understand the power of this setting. So let's go here, let's remove the auto mask, and if I now do this, you can see that I already start wiping out stuff I don't want to wipe out, because the auto mask kind of understands the edges between the two colors, and therefore makes it very simple to cut out stuff where you really have defined edges. Sometimes in pictures you don't have that, and this obviously makes it a little bit more tricky, so you have to be a little bit more careful when you cut it out. But in this example, I think we have relatively good um, scenario to do that. So again, I cut that out. I think you get the idea. Do this. Be careful on the eye. So now let's think of, you would cut a little bit into the dino that you don't want to. But let me show you, like if you do this on the foot and you're like, oh my god. So all you have to do is you have to press the Alt key, and then you can see that the brush tool changes its its symbol, and then you can use this. And what you in fact do is you reverse whatever you just have done in wiping it out. You put it back. So you also can go here, of course, but this is not something we want. But with this, you can kind of redo in case you made a mistake. All right. So let's do this. Let's do this. You can see it's relatively simple. I have the eye, so I want to redo the eye. And then you can see down here, we have to be a little bit more careful because I have a darker spot down here. Whereas with this red, maybe the edge is not so clear. So what I do is I take down the size a little bit, and I start getting closer and closer to it. Maybe I do it a little smaller again, like this, and this is going to work pretty nicely. I think you get the idea. So once we are finished, well, let's quickly do it properly. I think you get the idea. So once we are finished, we are having a pretty nice cut out image of the dino. What we can do then is we quickly untick this arrow here. We maybe do it a little bit like that. Of course we also can get rid of this black part here. And now we just can play around um, with the colors of the dino to make sure the dino is a little bit more attractive, more dirty, or whatsoever. All right, having said that, let's quickly look at the bird here. This might be a little bit more trickier, and mainly in respect of the wings, because you can see if I do this, if I go here, we still can get pretty close to these edges because we have a very good um, we have a very good difference in contrast in terms of wings, feathers, and background. But here now it will get, you can see already now it will get tricky, right? So what we have to do here, I quickly undo this. What we have to do here, we have to use a small brush. We have to make this quite big. It's maybe too big. We have to make this a little bigger, and then we have to be very careful when we cut that out. Something like that. So here's another very good trick. If you do this and you believe it has been too harsh, you just take down the exposure a bit, and with this you get a little bit better edges, and you just can redo a little bit here again. Right, so I think you get the idea. So now all you would have to do is you carefully would have to cut out here all the wings in order not to lose any detail on the wings, because this is something we still want to have in the picture. But by doing that and by taking a little bit of time, I think you can get a very great picture with very whitish background. So I do it for the sake of time, just like this, that you get an idea how it would look like at the end. So let's do it here. Here you see we already have lost a little bit of detail. Here we have lost too much of detail. So I do the correction again by pressing the Alt key, you can see, so I can kind of redo it. So that's pretty neat. And then like this. All right, so let's look at it. Yeah, I think that's pretty good already. You can see we still have some blue-gray areas here. So that's something we have to do with a little bit more, like with a little bit of a smaller brush by going into here, and we have to be real careful that we don't cut out any detail we still want to have. So this is something we don't want. You can see that this gives kind of a very unrealistic touch of the wings. So you have to be very careful here. So like rather do it like that, and then maybe have a smaller brush again. So this is a very tricky area now because you can see that the color of the wings and the color of the background kind of is almost matching, and therefore to cutting out the wing piece here is yeah, a little bit of a nitty-gritty work, right? So I'm gonna undo that again, and my recommendation here would be maybe use not so much exposure, maybe make it a little bigger, and then really try to do it like this first, like maybe don't go that deep in the beginning, and then as we go along maybe start getting with the smaller brush a little deeper, and then with the smaller brush a little deeper. And remember, now we have kind of, we see it as a large detail, so if we make it smaller at the end you're not going to see that no more. But I think it's very important that we get here kind of a nice edge and not like these roundings as before, as this would be totally unrealistic. So let's quickly look at it in real size. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. You can see this is the part that we have been working on, and you hardly can see any distortion no more. So having said that, what we would have to do is we would have to go now through each of the wing, or like between the fingers of the bird, and just cut out the white, and then we can do all sort of corrections again in with keep pressing the Alt key to get back a little bit of the color if required. Okay, cool. I hope this was helpful for you. Yeah, keep taking pictures and keep keep working on them. It's a lot of fun. Cheers.